Julia Childs described this dish as one of the most delicious beef dishes concocted by man. That's what happens when you want to quote Julia Childs, you just can't get it out properly. Bonjour, this is Cooking Fabulously, the channel that puts more fun and fabulousness into French food. Today, we're making Bœuf Bourguignon. The ingredients you'll need for this Bœuf Bourguignon are... So this recipe actually comes in two parts over the course of 2 days. So the first part we'll do right now, and then we'll come back tomorrow and finish it off. It's simple, so it's not too hard. It's all about just letting it cook slowly on the stove and then just leaving it overnight to develop more flavour. Just a quick note, with my carrots, I don't actually peel my carrots. What I do is when I wash them, I give them a good scrub. Good scrub with this brush, specifically a Bruce Legume. It's a brush for vegetables. I figure if I can't brush my hair, I might as well brush my vegetables. In fact, actually, this one needs a good scrubbing. I'll be back in a minute. Now to start, we want to, in a good Dutch oven, heat on medium-high heat. We want to add 1 tablespoon of our olive oil. And then we want to add about half of our beef. Ooh, getting a nice sizzle there. We want to get a bit of colour on each side of the beef, but you don't want to stew the meat just yet. We just want to get that colour on it. So only use half. We're going to do this in 2 batches. You could do it in more, depending on how big your Dutch oven is, and or depending on how big your beef sizes are. Mine are quite big. Once you've done that with this batch of beef, then you just want to go ahead and repeat the process. Another tablespoon of oil and the rest of the beef. Now that I've got that beef done, it's time to add another tablespoon of olive oil, and then on medium heat, add our onions, carrots, and celery. And we just want to give them a stir and cook until it's translucent. And as you can see, the moisture from the vegetables has actually helped me remove the fond at the bottom of the pan. So the pan is almost clear. Now we want to add our garlic and our tomato paste. Just give the garlic a good stir in, and the same with our tomato paste. With the tomato paste, we want to make sure that we cook it off for a minute or two just to get that flavour out of it. We don't want raw tomato paste flavour in our Bœuf Bourguignon. Then we want to season, so we want to add our salt and our pepper. And I find this is a good time also to add our beef stock cube. Give them a good stir. Starting to get a Bœuf Bourguignon facial. That's why my skin looks so fabulous. All the facials I've been getting lately. The coq au vin facial. I got a ratatouille facial, now a Bœuf Bourguignon. Should set up a whole new side business. Want to return our beef to the pan. Want to nestle the beef into, give it a little home in between all the carrot. You could go in there, come on, move over. And now there was all this flavour, so we want to get that in there as well. So all the resting juices from the beef. Add our herb, our thyme, rosemary and the bay leaves. And then in goes our wine. Pour that in. I like to make sure that the liquid is fully covering the beef. So, because we're going to cook it for about 3 hours, so it could get a little bit dry. So what I'm going to do is I've just got some filtered water. I'm going to pour that in. I always use filtered water when I'm cooking, and I'm just pouring that in to make sure all the beef is covered. Bring that up to the boil. One of the things that would probably help bringing it to the boil was if it was fully on the hot plate and not half on the hot plate and half off. Interesting. Right, now that that's come to a good boil, we want to turn the heat down just to low and put the lid on. And then we're just going to let that simmer here for 3 hours. Couldn't be more simple, can't be more delicious. So we'll come back in about 3 hours. I might go do my hair. Right, so after 3 hours, that smells amazing. So we just want to turn the heat off, remove it from the heat, And then that can just sit there overnight till tomorrow. It's fine. As it has a nap, it's going to develop flavour. And it'll be perfectly fine tomorrow. Then we'll do part 2 of my Bœuf Bourguignon recipe. Still in this video. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in the morning as soon as my hair dries. By the way, I should have mentioned, if you like this video, press the like button. Share me around with your friends. I love to be shared around. We're back. What we need to do, I've got a fry pan on a medium heat here. I'm just going to add my bacon. Bring that up to a high heat and fry those off. Now with the Bœuf Bourguignon, I'm just going to get one of these spiders and take out as much as I can the bœuf, carrot and herbs. Don't worry, I'm not losing the bœuf here. I'm just taking it out. It's delicious and tender. Put a fork to it and it's just falling apart. So just pop that aside. And then with our sauce here, I'm just going to turn that up to a high heat. Bring it to the boil. I want it to reduce by about a quarter, depending on how much liquid you have. Now I've got 4 baby carrots here. What I want to do is I want to just chop them in half lengthways, straight down the middle. And that I'm just going to pop into our sauce mixture. And they're going to cook away in there. Once the bacon's done, we're just going to remove that onto a paper towel, but making sure that you keep the fat in the bottom of the pan, because we're going to cook our mushrooms in that fat and we're not adding anything else to it. It's just the mushrooms. Top side down, we're going to pop them into our fried pan that has all that lovely bacon fat. Just with our beef, we want to just separate the beef from the milk pot. Be careful because it is tender. We've just got our butter and flour. In the small bowl, mix the butter and flour in with your fingers. That's all good. We're making a roux here. The roux is going to thicken up that sauce, just cooking the carrots away nicely in there at the moment. Let's check our mushrooms. Yep, they're getting a nice bit of colour on them. Our carrots, they're done. With the sauce on a medium-low heat, we just want to whisk in our roux. This is going to help thicken that sauce up. Give it a good vigorous whisk. So now that our sauce is thickened up a bit, we want to add our beef back and our carrots. Then we also want to add our mushrooms. And then finally we want to add our bacon. We just want to give it a bit of a stir, being a bit careful. We don't want to, the meat's a bit tender, so we don't want to overdo it. I'm just going to pop the lid back on. I'm going to leave that on a low to medium heat to simmer for 20 minutes. I've got some pomme puree ready and also the Bœuf Bourguignon. Now with the Bœuf Bourguignon, I'm just going to sprinkle a handful of chopped parsley into there. I just give that a bit of a stir. Delicious. Get some of the pomme puree into a bowl. Just make a little well inside. And of course, because you're cooking with me fabulously, there's going to be a little bit of mess. What can I say? Louis, is that the right place to sit? Is that the right place to stand whilst I'm cooking, do you think? Do you really think you should be laying there with your head on my foot whilst I'm cooking? Louis, I'm trying to cook here for people on the internet. I don't need a dog laying on my feet whilst I'm trying to cook. Then, you just want to take out a nice piece of bœuf and place that on our pomme puree. Yeah. Do the same thing with a piece of carrot. Add a few mushrooms, got plenty of sauce, just a bit of bacon. There we have it. My Bœuf Bourguignon. Delicious. And of course, it's all about the eating, isn't it? Bon appetit! So good. The bœuf, amazing. If you like to, you can support Cooking Fabulously by joining our Patreon subscribers. For as little as €3 a month, you can help me make Cooking Fabulously.